Did Detective Pikachu write out its own sequel? Hi there and welcome to Circuit the World. My name is Alice and today we're going to be discussing and reviewing Detective Pikachu. Detective Pikachu is a film directed by Rob Letterman and starring Justice Smith, Ryan Reynolds and Catherine Newman, following the tale of Tim, whose dad is killed at the beginning of the film, and he and his dad's Pikachu go on a mission to find out exactly what happened to him. The results. Go watch it, it's good. From this point out, this is your spoiler warning. If you have not seen Detective Pikachu, stop the video now, go check it out and come back when you're done. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a wonderful little nod to, you know, fans of the franchise, of the original anime, of the games, of everything. I've loved Pokemon since I was a kid. It was the first game I ever had on a gaming console on my little Game Boy Advance. I used to love playing it. I still love playing it and need to get a Nintendo Switch so I can play the new one because damn, I really need to play that game. The kind of universe it's set in, it does well to kind of set up its own universe, but it follows on, from my perspective, from the anime series with Ash Ketchum. It's like that universe, but in nowadays. There were some really good nods, like you had the Jigglypuff with the green marker microphone who was getting upset because everyone kept falling asleep when she was singing. You had the legendary Pokemon at the back of Howard's desk from Pearl and Silver, which was the first game that came out on the DS. By far my favorite, because it was the first one I properly got into and caught all the legendaries, and I think it's the first and only Pokemon game I've ever completed, so that's probably why it's my favorite. I had Pearl, my brother had Silver. There was a Cubone as well. The Cubone starts off the film and he's crying and sad, and from memory there's an episode of the anime where that is something and they have to kind of try and help out the Cubone, so that was a nice little nod. You also had some of the lore coming through, so when Tim tries to catch the Cubone at the start and he says, "Oh, you're really rocking that skull of your dead relative on your head, looks great." That's obviously quite a dark, twisted side of Pokemon lore. The music by Henry Jackman was really good. I thought it did a really good job of kind of incorporating the 8-bit music that you get in video games and you got in the classic Pokemon games, and did a really well kind of incorporating that and bringing it to a kind of modern twist, so you had not just 8-bit music, though I would have loved 8-bit music throughout the entire film, just saying. At the end of the day, it's primarily aimed at kids with the odd nod to the old generation. I thought the storyline was it's a pretty simple storyline to follow, I guess. Bad guy is making bad gas that turns Pokemon crazy, and they're trying to work out who's doing it and put a stop to it. And then bad guy achieves mission, puts gas everywhere, which allows Mewtwo to somehow sync people with Pokemon. Cool. But one thing that did bug me about it was throughout the last 40 minutes, I guess, you get one twist, and then another twist, and then a twist, and a twist, and it becomes very, very twisty, as Pikachu said.
That's a twist. That's very twisty.
And I kind of wasn't on board with that. I love films that have you rooting for one guy and then throw you under the bus with about 20 minutes to go, and say, oh, by the way, you're rooting for the bad guy all along. But the way Detective Pikachu did it, you believe Robert's the bad guy, and you think Robert is the guy who's making chemical R, which kind of made itself make sense. And even when I was watching it through, I didn't think that was the case because that was way too obvious. But it makes you think that Robert's the bad guy and that Mewtwo is the bad Pokemon. And then you get thrown that after you find out that Mewtwo's actually good and was captured by the humans and being tested on, then you find out that Harry was actually helping them to capture Mewtwo. So then you're like, well, should I like Harry? Should I not like Harry? Is Harry really a bad guy here? What's going on? And then you get thrown that Pikachu betrayed Harry, and then you're like, hang on, that doesn't make sense. Why is Pikachu betraying Harry? I thought they were Pokemon partners. What's going on? And then all in all, at the end of it all, none of that matters. You're confused for nothing because Howard's the bad guy all along, which I should have seen coming. I kind of didn't like that aspect of it. I feel when you do that, you kind of throw the audience through so much that at the end they're just like, do you know what, tell me who the good guy is. I'm kind of lost here. But I feel like films should maybe stick to one big twist, and I think there were some very interesting routes they could have pursued, like Mewtwo actually being a bad Pokemon that broke out and decided to rebel against the humans because they were testing on him. I know that's touched on in the film where Mewtwo says to Pikachu, you know, I thought humanity was bad, but you showed me that some of them can be good, so because of that I'm not going to lose my mind and rage out and kill all the humans. And also, Mewtwo is literally an unbeatable Pokemon, so I can understand why you wouldn't put that as the bad guy, because that would have been really hard to beat. You'd have literally had to have all of the Pokemon turn against him. But yeah, that would have been an interesting route. Or I quite liked the idea that Harry in the end was the bad guy, and that, you know, there'd have been a moment where Tim was like, I thought I knew my dad, I thought I wanted to be like my dad, but I didn't and I don't. And I mean, okay, that may have underscored the whole parental bereaving thing, so maybe that would have been a bad one to go down. So maybe what I'm saying in the end is maybe they did the right thing, but maybe they should have never tried to introduce Howard as the good guy and then had that final twist reveal at the end. I don't know. I just felt there was a lot of twists. It was like, oh, there's a twist. Oh, there's another twist. Wait, there's another twist. I was like, okay, stop twisting. Just tell me what's going on. But like I said, I did really enjoy the film. The one other thing I wanted to mention was the kind of underlining tone of parental grief, which was, you know, hit off quite hard off the bat. And I understand it's a kids film. The target audience was kids, and it's quite a dark topic to go into for a kids film, which is why I was a bit surprising it was there, but I guess it wasn't there because I just felt like they kind of undercut it every time there was a moment, apart from the moment on the bench with Tim and Pikachu, where Pikachu's like, no, if your dad was here, I'm sure he would be really proud. And obviously on reflection, knowing that Harry, Tim's dad, is actually inside Pikachu at that moment, that gives that moment a hell of a lot more weight, and that's really nice, and I think that's really sweet. But apart from that moment, there was a moment where he was going through the apartment and you were seeing all the pictures and you had the flashbacks and stuff, and I just felt like every time there was a moment where you could kind of invest in the character's feeling, that he was sad, that he was lost, he'd lost his dad, he was dealing with that. Every time you kind of started getting there, like, okay, I can invest, I'm empathizing, it just kind of snatched away from you. You didn't necessarily like, I know it's only an hour 40 film, you got to get a lot of stuff out, you got to explain the world quickly. I was completely on board with that. They did that very well in the ways they did it. Like, I really liked the train scene when they gave you the little infomercial about Rhyme City before you got to Rhyme City, which, yes, it was an exposition drop, but it was needed because you needed to set it up, and it was quite fast paced, and you need to be like, look, this is the world, here we are, here are the Pokemon, here are the people, this is how it works, boom, go, get into the story. When you've got such a short film, well, what feels like a short film when you watch something like Endgame, which is 3 hours long, you've got to get your audience in and invested in the world very quickly. So the way they did that was good, but the problem was, because I think those scenes, like the trying to catch the Cubone, then finding out his dad was dead, then getting on the train, then getting to the apartment, because those scenes themselves were quite short, because they had to be, it felt like there was nothing, once you're just getting into the scene, it was like, oh, we've changed again. Once you get past the first 20 minutes of the film, there's some really funny moments, some really great cracking one-liners from Pikachu, which obviously testament to Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he pulled it off in Deadpool, he pulled it off again. If you go into this film looking at it as it is, which it almost a piss take of itself, it was really good. If you have seen the film, do let me know what you thought of Detective Pikachu in the coffee pot down below, and also let me know what your favourite scene was. I'd love to hear from you. I think mine was probably the Charizard battle. I really loved that. Other ones to note were March of the Bulbasaurs. By the way, I want a Bulbasaur. That thing was so freaking adorable. I need one in my life. So is the crux of the problem now. Has Detective Pikachu accidentally written off its sequel? If they want to do a sequel, they'll find a way to do a sequel. It'll probably be bad because they've gotten rid of their main character. So the film ends Mewtwo saying, oh, by the by, your dad's been in the Pikachu all along. Psych, here he is, magic hand power, and then Ryan Reynolds appears as Harry. The problem I have is for a sequel to happen of Detective Pikachu, there's no longer a Detective Pikachu. The final scene of the film shows Harry and Tim talking with Pikachu going, Pika Pika! There is no more Detective Pikachu, which means, of all of the Pokemon films, it's a good one. There'll be a reason to give it a sequel because you now built an audience for it. But now they've got rid of Detective Pikachu as Pikachu himself. That is no more. They can't do any more with that character. Are they going to grab another Pokemon and make them a detective? Are they going to go through the missions of Harry and Tim with Pikachu? Because trust me, that's just not going to work as well. One of the brilliant things about this film was Pikachu, was the character of Harry/Pikachu, of that hybrid of the sarcastic, witty, funny, kind of got it but kind of didn't get it Pikachu, and now they've got rid of that character. Like I said, they'll make a sequel if they want one, but the window that would have been so brilliantly left open has been closed. I also wasn't a fan of that moment at the end when Harry came back. My perfect way to end this film would have been maybe Harry was so badly injured in that crash, the only way to save him was for Mewtwo to fuse he and the Pikachu together, but made it an irreversible fuse, if you will. So that at the end, when he's like, your dad's been with you the whole time, he's in this Pikachu, he'd be like, but you know, your dad really got quite banged up by that car. It kind of exploded twice. Humans don't really survive that kind of stuff, so the only way to save him was to put him in the Pikachu. There was a deeper bond between he and the Pikachu, and that left the door wide open for the sequel or any sequels that would follow. Like I said, once again, absolutely loved it, and huge testament to Justice Smith and Catherine Newman, by the way, for pretty much predominantly acting with nobody else beside them. I think he said about 80% of the film with no one else beside him. Just fantastic job. Really, really does well. There's no moment where you kind of feel like he's not connected. If there's any moment you don't feel like he's connected, it's at the start when he's acting with the human Jack trying to catch the Cubone. That bit of acting, maybe just trying to get his feet in or whatever, I don't know. That's the one part of the film I would say, if any, not that I'm saying his acting is weak or bad or anything at all, that's probably just the weakest moment, which is complete full testament to him, because he was in the moment and acting strongly in those moments with nobody beside him, probably a green tennis ball. Huge testament to him for this film. It was really good fun, super light-hearted little film, funny, good one-liners, just constantly have a smile on your face throughout it, and some wonderful little nods back to the games and the anime and wonderful things from my childhood. So a wonderful nostalgia run for me as well. I've said wonderful a hell of a lot. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been an absolute blast. If you like this video, go smack that subscribe button, share this with your friends, and show that like button some Pika Pika love. Stay awesome, and I will see you all in the next video. One of those little Bulbasaurs. It made the cutest sound and it just looked the cutest. Ugh. Why are things in the CG world not real? All of the Pokemon look so great in this film.